Next, we want to work on recreating this top block of content in Adobe XD. So we've got a main story here with a headline, some text, and a byline. And then we've got two stories in this column. And then we have a sidebar over here that has a light gray background. It says trending at the top. And it has 4 items that we need to insert. So let's get started. So first we'll insert our big story here in the middle. And we'll just create a big block to represent that photo. I want that to be approximately centered. And we'll go ahead and fill that with a dark gray. This will just represent, we'll use these dark gray blocks to represent photos throughout our wireframe. So let's go ahead and put down a few other photos while we've got this element here. So we'll go ahead and hold down the Alt button to copy that. And then we can hold down the Shift button and resize that block a little bit. Give ourselves a little gutter. And then I'm going to copy that item down too. And that'll be the nice basis for our top block of content. Okay, so now I want to draw the sidebar item over here. So I'll hold down Alt and copy this over. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to drag that all the way down. Okay. Now we're getting a little bit closer to having a nice structure for the top. Since this is actually this doesn't represent a photo, this represents our sidebar. I'm going to change that to be a lighter gray. We're going to get rid of the border. Okay, so we're really starting to get there. Let's start to lay down some of our text. Let's take a look back at our sketch. Okay, so in our main story, we have a headline, we have some copy, and then we have our byline. So let's go ahead and grab a little bit of text for our headline. We'll put that down first. I'm going to go ahead and set that in Georgia, which is our serif type. Play around with the sizing. This is our main story. We want the headline to be pretty big. I don't know if I want that to be bold. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and center that text. Place it underneath the headline. Underneath the photo. Okay, now we want to add a little bit more text. We want to add a category above the headline. So I'm going to use, okay, so let's just type the word category. We'll change that to Helvetica. Make it much smaller. And I'm going to increase what's called the kerning on this, which means we're going to increase the space between letters. I'm going to go ahead and set this to 100, which you can see increase the space between the letters. And just gave that a little bit of an interesting look. And we'll go ahead and place that, maybe make it a little bit more. There we go. We'll go ahead and place that above our headline. And we can select both these elements and use the alignment tool up here to center them together. Give a little bit more white space underneath the category. I want to play with that a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and make that bold. And yeah, that should do it. Okay, so now I want to add in 2 more pieces of copy. We've got a little bit of a text teaser underneath the headline and then a byline. So I'll go ahead and grab a little bit more dummy text for my teaser. Yeah, that'll be enough. I want this to be smaller and in Helvetica, which it is, but I don't want it to have this wide keyring, so I'll bring that down to 0. I want this to be regular. I'm going to bring it up to 14 pixels so it's more readable. All right, looking good. Now we have one more item. We want to add in a byline. And so we'll just say byline. And we'll stylize this just a little bit. We're going to make the by lowercase and italic. Actually, let's make the whole thing Georgia. And again, I'm basing these type styles off of the finished website in a lot of cases. And we'll just make the by italic. There, that looks very nice. Now we can select all of these items and make sure that they're all centered correctly. Here, and that looks really nice. Definitely off to a good start. I might want to break that line just a little bit sooner. Okay, great. Pretty happy with that. All right, now we want to go ahead and add text underneath these two items as well. And our text is going to be really similar, except we're not going to have this sort of text teaser. So I'm just going to grab this whole thing and make a copy of it here. I'll delete that. And I'm just going to work on sort of getting this to a place where it can be used. Over here. Right, sort of like that. That's too small. So we'll bring that back up to 12. Okay, that's pretty much what I was looking for. And I can select all these items and I'll copy them up here as well. Obviously we need a little bit more space. Okay, we're looking really nice. Okay, so the last thing that we need to do in this area is we need to put some content over here in our sidebar. So this sidebar had a title at the top that said trending. We want that to be in Helvetica. And we'll make it much bigger. And we'll make it bold. Make it a little bigger. Okay. I'm going to get that, try to get that in the center of this somehow. Select both those elements. And then center it like that. There we go. Okay, and now we want to have 4 stories in our trending box. If we go back and look at our sketch, we'll see that they need to have the category, a headline, and a byline. That shouldn't be too hard. And in fact, that's what we've got right over here. So maybe we can reuse this text here. Perfect. This a little bigger. Okay, great. Now I want to have just a very thin line in between each item. We can just leave that as gray. That's fine. Okay, fabulous. Now let's just grab that line and all this stuff and make sure that everything's centered correctly. And then we can just copy these down so we have a few more items. Okay, we actually wanted 4 items here. And we'll just play with our spacing. Great. We're getting there. All right, now let's go ahead and save. And we've really gone ahead and wireframed out the main content well of our site.